Intro. Close your eyes for a moment. It's May 28th, 1453. The sun has just set over a city that has stood for over 1,000 years, walls that have never been breached, churches that hold the bones of emperors, a civilization that outlasted everything the world threw at it. Tonight, all of it ends. This is the story of the last night of Constantinople, the fall of the Roman Empire, and the death of a world that refused to believe it could die. Get comfortable. This one stays with you. Chapter 1. The city that thought it could not fall. Constantinople was not just a city, it was an idea. For over 1,000 years, while Europe stumbled through plague and war and darkness, Constantinople stood as the last light of Rome. Its walls, 3 layers deep, stretching nearly 4 miles, had never fallen to an outside enemy. The people inside genuinely believed God protected their city. They were about to find out otherwise. Chapter 2. The young Sultan. On the other side of those walls stood a 21-year-old, Mehmed II, Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, and he had been obsessed with Constantinople since childhood, studying maps, memorizing every gate, every weakness, every failed siege before his. When he became Sultan, his advisors assumed he'd be easy to control. They were wrong. Within 2 years, Mehmed had raised the largest Ottoman army ever assembled. He cut the city off from supplies, and he built a cannon so enormous it took 60 oxen and 200 men just to move it, firing stone balls that weighed over 1,000 pounds. The Byzantines had never seen anything like it. Their entire defensive strategy became obsolete overnight. Chapter 3. The Emperor's Last Choice. Inside the city, Emperor Constantine XI knew the truth. His population had collapsed to fewer than 50,000. He had 7,000 soldiers to defend 14 miles of walls. He'd written to every Christian king in Europe, begging, promising anything. Almost no one came. A small Venetian fleet, a Genoese soldier named Giovanni Giustiniani with 700 men. That was essentially it. The night before the final assault, Constantine walked through his city one last time. He visited the Hagia Sophia, the greatest cathedral in the world, and prayed for a long time. Then he put on his armor. He told those close to him he had no intention of surviving the fall of his city. He kept that promise. Chapter 4. The Siege. The cannons began in early April, 7 shots a day, each one shaking the ground, each one chipping away at walls that had stood for a millennium. For 53 days, the defenders held, barely, frantically patching rubble at night, fighting by day. Mehmed tried naval attacks, failed. He tried tunneling. The Byzantines flooded them. He even dragged his entire fleet overland on greased logs, bypassing the harbor chain the Byzantines had stretched across the water. An insane feat, and it terrified the defenders who watched warships appear, impossibly, on the wrong side of the city. Still, the walls held. But everyone inside knew the math. 7,000 against 100,000. It was only a matter of time. Chapter 5. The Last Night. May 28th, 1453. Mehmed called a day of rest across his army. Everyone inside the city understood what that meant. The final assault was coming at dawn. Constantine organized one last ceremony. A candlelit procession through the streets, icons carried through neighborhoods, citizens weeping, confessing to priests, embracing strangers. Then a final mass at the Hagia Sophia, the last Christian service ever held in that building. Constantine received communion, embraced every commander in the room, asked forgiveness from anyone he had wronged. Then he rode to the walls. Chapter 6. The Fall. At 1:30 in the morning, the Ottoman drums began. Mehmed sent wave after wave, his weakest troops first to exhaust the defenders, then his irregular soldiers, then, finally, his janissaries, the Ottoman Empire's elite, trained since childhood, the finest warriors alive. For hours the walls held. And then Giustiniani, the Genoese commander, the man holding the defense together, took a shot through his armor. He asked to be carried from the walls. When he left, something broke. In the chaos, a small forgotten gate, the Kirka Porta, was found unlocked. A handful of Ottoman soldiers slipped through. Someone screamed that the enemy was inside. The defense collapsed. Constantine, hearing the city had fallen, tore off his imperial regalia, the purple cloak, the symbols of Rome, and charged into the fighting as a common soldier. His body was never found. One legend says a Turkish soldier, not knowing who he'd killed, later noticed imperial eagles embroidered on the boots of a dead man in the mud. The last emperor of Rome died in the street. And before the sun rose, Constantinople, the city that could not fall, was gone. Mehmed rode in later that morning. He went straight to the Hagia Sophia, ordered it converted to a mosque, and by some accounts he wept, not from guilt, but from something more complicated. Awe, perhaps, at what time does to even the greatest things. He renamed the city Istanbul. It still stands today. The walls Constantine defended. You can still walk along sections of them. Battered, patched 1,000 times, but there. And somewhere in the rubble of a gate left unlocked on the wrong night, an empire ended. Sleep well, and remember, even the walls that never fall eventually do. This has been Kingdoms After Dark.